Decordó, the creator of the Leicester equaliser. El Khanous, how much room does he have here? El Khanous going for goal, and he finds it as well. What a turnaround here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
4 minutes, Leicester have soaked up so much pressure. Fatawi jinking feet to get beyond his man, and the header from Jamie Vardy makes it 2.
Wood should score. Wood's gonna go. Yes! Yes! Anthony Clivo has done it.
Tielemans lining one up. What a goal! What a brilliant goal by Yuri Tielemans! And the Leicester City fans go absolutely potty.
In behind Damian Vardy. It's 11. It's heaven for Jamie Vardy. Hold the back page. Hold the front page. A Leicester player has smashed the record.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Blue Tinted Glasses, and it's the day after relegation day. How are you all feeling? There's no Lock today. Very convenient, if you ask me, that on relegation weekend he's nowhere to be found, but he will actually be back tomorrow. So you're joined by the gruesome twosome. It's the Batman to my Robin. You're very lucky. You've got Mr. Vlogger himself. It's Imranaldo, as we like to call him. Imran, good evening. How are you? How's your 4-day break been, other than the fact that Leicester got relegated?
No, it's been good. It's been good. Spending a lot of time with my kids, teaching them about Leicester City, the history, and all that good stuff. 90s football, all that good stuff. And yeah, I mean, we've just got to get on with the rest of the season now. I know it's a dead rubber now, but like we've been discussing it over the past months now, haven't we? That it was inevitable that we were going down. So yeah, it's just happened now. It's just confirmed. So yeah, it's set in that we're down. So yeah.
Well, there is a lot to talk about in what's been an absolute disaster of the season. Yeah. Let's just say hello to everyone before we bring in all the callers. Evening, Kunal. Evening, Steve. Wow, we deserved it. I think the relegation from 2 years ago hurts much more than this one. Evening, Andreas. Clivo, who I believe will be calling in. The Dallas boxes, plenty of them. And evening to Archie as well. Before we get on the callers, anything that's on your mind, Imran? I'm sure there's a lot that is going through your mind. What are you thinking right now? Have you just had enough of Leicester?
I was just, as you do, I was in the shower this morning, scrubbing my hair, what's left of it. I just had a thought, right, that Nistelrooy, most of us thought he might walk straight after relegation, or the club would have announced something today.
Yeah.
But then I was just playing with the thought, right, that even if he was to stay, right, we never saw him dabble in the transfer window, did we? Like, he kept saying that he's got contacts in the transfer market, at Man United and Ajax and Feyenoord and PSV. He had links at all these places. He was going to bring some players in, but he never got the opportunity to do so. So I was just playing with the thought that maybe if the club can't afford to sack him, maybe he might be quite shrewd in the transfer window and does know young talent out there. And, he's a big name and maybe he can reinvigorate the squad. I don't know, I was just playing with the thought. Obviously, I think he should go. Let's get that out there. But we're just playing with that thought. So just let's see what everyone thinks of that idea. That maybe...
Yeah, That is a good discussion point. I'll give you that. So that's good to do this. Let's not answer that. Let's see what some of our guests have to say that. So bringing up first, making his long-awaited return. Oh my God, this is sort of like Abdul Fatawu. The amount of time this guy's been out. It's the man, the myth, the legend. It's Reese. And just before I say good evening to you, Reese, I've got to say, when Cooper was sacked and we were discussing the next manager, we were having some discussions. And there was one individual who said, Anil, I don't want Van Nistelrooy. I think it's a mistake. We've got to go Carlos Corberán. And that man, also the owner of one of the nicest Leicester City hoodies I've ever seen, I'm definitely jealous, is this man. So welcome back, Reese. It's it's great to see you. I don't blame you, actually, for taking 6 months off. I think you are the smartest man in the room. Happy Easter. How are you? What's going through your mind?
Well, it's been a long couple of months for me. I've just moved into my new gaff, so I've not had much time to look online or anything like that. But I thought post relegation, I thought I'd make a little appearance for you guys. But my thoughts are, yes, originally I didn't want Van Nistelrooy. I don't think he's Premier League ready, and obviously I told you that, guys, from the beginning. But as time's gone on, he's been dealt with a load of, like I say, he's been dealt with a load of rubbish. He got no funds in the January window, and I know he's made a lot of mistakes. But I would keep him as the manager in the
Wow.
Championship. I would
Really?
keep him. Yes, I would, because I think there's been some parts to the get. There's been certain games where I just look at and think there's a lot of potential for this to go really, really well. Now, a lot of fans might disagree with me because his record is horrendous, but I think with the way he wants to play, and I'd love to see the likes of Monga, the likes of Evans, the likes of all these young lads coming through. I'd love to see him integrate them into his own style, and then he can have his own philosophy and team. Because if you look at the candidates out there, Russell Martin, I mean, come on, we beat them 12-3. We beat him 12-3 over 3 games. Sean Dyche is a firefighter. You don't want him rebuilding your club. So the other 2 options that I would think of to bring in for the club, if we were to get rid of Rude, are Will Still and Cesc Fabregas. But can you get them away from their clubs? I don't think so.
There's a few things that says it's very interesting that you should say that. I mean, yeah, the big thing that's been said in the Percy article is that Van Nistelrooy, when he was at PSV, he's brought through players like Madueke, Xavi Simons, Cody Gakpo. There's another one called Ismail Sabri, who I was really hoping we might get, actually. A very talented left winger. At the same time, though, you know, he gave up. Let's have it right, Reese. He completely threw in the towel. A little bit like with you with blue tinted glasses, if I'm being honest. No, I'll let that go. Reese. I suppose welcome back to you. What do you reckon of that, Imran? With would you just mentioned it at the top of the show that you might give Van Nistelrooy a choice, but devil's advocate, 14 losses from 16 games. That's got to be the worst one in Leicester City's history. We still haven't scored at home this year, by the way, just throwing it out there. He was laughing with Arne Slot after we got relegated. Not a great look. Although, to give him credit, he has got Vestergaard and Winks out of the team now, but he's still selecting Wout Faes, even though Akoli, for my money, had a good game last time. So what's going through your head, Imran? Do you agree with Reese, or is it just time to bring someone new in?
Yeah, I mean, like I said at the top of the show, it's a definite possibility that he could stay because of PSR. Because if we were to get rid of him, we still don't know what the implications are in the Championship, right? They're still waiting for us. So maybe sacking him will give him another excuse to, put the book on us even further. So
yeah,
I can see Ruud staying for sure. And as Reece says, who's out there? Like I'd go for Rosinia actually. Like I'd like to see him. He's a young aspiring manager. Did well at Hull. I know the Hull fans got fed up of him at the end, but
they would have him back. They would have him back tomorrow.
Yeah,
now
they would. They would. But they play that. He plays that sort of football that Enzo and Ruud are trying to implement. So it wouldn't be too much of a change, even though I don't like that sort of football, as you know. So it wouldn't be too much of a change. So yeah, I mean, I think the next couple of weeks are going to be crucial, right? Because there's going to be a lot of rumours. Allegedly, I'm hearing that the club are speaking to Ruud this week. So something might come out of that. So I think this time next week, we might be in a better position to see where we are on the managerial front for sure.
I hope so, because the content will be running out otherwise. Back to you, Reece. Let's say that Ruud wasn't available. Who would tickle your fancy? Because King Carlos is gone. He's doing a good job at Valencia. He beat Real Madrid, didn't he, at the Bernabeu?
That's why I'd have gone for him personally, because he had a great defensive record at Borough. They play quick attacking football, and he'd done it with a string budget, which is what we've virtually got at the minute. And also, if we go down, you've got a ready-made Championship manager with better players than what he had at West Brom. And I believe he'd have done a better job than what Ruud would do in the Championship, because he's a bit more proven in the Championship. Mm-hmm. But if I had to pick, but now obviously King Carlos is gone, I am looking. It's hard because I don't want Russell Martin. I won't have any Russell Martin shouts ever.
What about King Carsley? That's been linked in TalkSport this morning.
No. I don't want an international manager either. We need someone that's a football league manager. Mm-hmm. So I would go for Will Still or Cesc. Can we prize them away? I don't know. I really don't know. But it's hard because it's like I said, when we sacked Cooper, we had options. We had a Graham Potter available and stuff like that, and obviously we went for Ruud. And like I said he's not Premier League ready. I'm still not convinced. But I do think in the Championship he can learn from his mistakes, like Frank Lampard's doing. Frank's doing at Coventry, like learning from his mistakes, tweaking a few things in his system. And I think with his own players, with his own picks, I think he can get it right.
So
yeah,
Reece,
I mean,
let
I
me
would
ask
say that you got a strong squad in Leicester, haven't you? So go on, Imran. What did you want to say?
No, I was going to ask Reece a question. I was going to ask him about the Cooper stacking as well. Like, were you giving more time person, or were you happy to see him gone? And final question: do you think he would have got more points than Nistelrooy?
Oh God, that's a difficult one. Firstly, I didn't want him in the first place. You're going from a possession-based manager to a part-the-bus manager. It was never going to work. Like I said, I never wanted him in the first place, and he's ex-Forest. I don't want anything associated with Forest at my football club.
What about Martin O'Neill? Well, probably not old enough, but yeah. But Martin O'Neill.
I'm 26, so it was a bit before my time.
Yeah.
Do you think it's? I don't know if it's different from. He's a Forest legend as a player, not as a manager. Whereas Steve Cooper's a Forest legend manager. If you get what I don't know. I just don't. It doesn't sit well with me personally. But do I think he'd have got more points than Rude? Potentially, maybe one or two more draws, maybe a win here and there, because he was very good at scraping a win, like he did against Bournemouth and Southampton. Yeah, I think he's a bit more shrewd and a bit clever than Rude in his defensive tactics, but not by much. Would have still gone down with Cooper anyway, in my opinion, mate.
Probably, yeah. But we'll never know, eh? That's the beauty about the game. We can all speculate, but we'll never know.
All right, look, Reece, just because we've got a lot of callers, I'll leave you to it, but hopefully you do call in, because you can guarantee we're going to be talking about the manager for quite a while and the players.
Oh, yeah.
We'll want your feedback, and who knows, we might even score a goal at home next season. I'm not sure about this season. So,
well, we'll see.
Yeah, great having you, Reece. We'll see you next time.
See you later.
Bye-bye. All right, okay, great to have Reece back. The hoodie is back. We need to get that in the merch shop, that's for sure. So next up, going to bring on one of the Dallas Foxes, another legend, Sony Charles. How's it going?
Hey, guys. Another legend, eh?
Another legend.
Thank you. So,
how are you doing? Have you taken the inevitable relegation that's just happened?
Yeah, we know it was coming, really, for a month or so now. So, actually, on a side note, I'm glad to be here. I survived a tornado 2 days ago.
Oh, wow. What was that? Was that one of the Leicester players' missed shots that was swirling around in America or something?
No, I've been here 33 years and sort of had, not near misses, but this was 3 miles away. Golf ball size hail and just a tornado. So we were in the bathroom with our survival gear on, but it just missed us. Anyway.
Wow. Scary.
It's starting the tornado season here. Anyway, okay. So, yeah, I mean, we've seen this coming for months, really. But I think we can't really say a lot. We don't know what's going to happen with the manager, with who's going to go. You know, I heard a rumor about El Canoes going already. It's probably crap. I don't know. Until all these things fall on the table and we know what we've got, it's hard to say next year. I'm optimistic for next year. I think we'll do well. With Van Nistelrooy, I'm not too sure. I want him out. I'm a Will Still guy again. I don't know why. Just like, Reece. I didn't want Van Nistelrooy. Will Still was in the frame for me. I don't know a lot about the guy, but he interviews really well. He's doing okay at Lens with no money. I think he left Reims and they took him. I don't think it will cost much. If anything, it will just want to come and have a crack at the Championship and then the Premier League if we get up. But it's been a horrible season just because the amount of losses and just being down every week. But the last two performances have been good. But where they've been for the last 14 games, I don't know. I know they're playing different players, but he brought back Fass again. I don't understand this. He's not going to be here next year. Could we have beaten Liverpool? We hit the post. We could have scraped something again. But Liverpool weren't playing well. I mean, they were just not bothered. That wasn't a full Liverpool.
What about that disallowed goal as well, by the way? That was never a push in a month. I mean, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. But that was so dodgy. Not even looking at VAR. Absolutely. Well, so... yeah, Will Still is an interesting one that everyone keeps bringing him up. I mean, I will say he made Napalis Mendy look good, which that's surely the sign of a good manager, if you ask me. Imran, what do you make of Will Still? Would you back him if he came over here?
Yeah, I think
an unknown quantity, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think he'd be I think he'd be a breath of fresh air if he came in. It'd be something different, something against the norm that we've gone against. He's young. He's got a way of playing as well. So, he'll stick to his style. So, yeah, I'm more than happy to give Will Still a chance. But I was going to ask you a question. You said next season, you're confident on our squad if we can keep some of our star players together. I totally agree with you. Like, if we can keep Fatawu, Bilal, Mads, I'm not too sure about, but if Mads stays, we've got Will Alves, doing well at Cardiff. So there's still a lot of positivity around the place in the sense that, we've got a young potential team there. McAteer as well, he signed a new contract. Hamza Chowdhury will be back. He's a championship player. There is a nucleus there somewhere, with a few more additions. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously, we've got to sell somebody. We have to do it every year. So I'd rather Mads go than Bilal. Now,
correct. Yeah,
I don't know about Bilal's personality. He's still young, whether he'll just throw his, dummy out the crate, whatever, and sulk to get out, or whether we say, look, give us one more year and then, see how we go, try and get us up to the Premier League, whether he wants to do that or not. But I think we should let Mads go because we've got the reserve goalkeeper. He's pretty good, seems to be pretty good. So, and we'll get some money for Mads, but hopefully it's not 20 million. I mean, we'll hold on to him. We need at least 30, 40, in my view, 50. And I think we could probably get it, from Chelsea, with Enzo, because don't forget, Chelsea set still the world record for Kappa, like 70 million back in the day. If they want him, they'll pay for him. So that's the one that'll go probably, and maybe sad. If we could keep him, it'd be brilliant. But we got to sell somebody.
Yeah,
it's another 100.
Yeah, just quickly, I remember before you comment on it. Like, just think about it. Last season, Leeds, they sold £100 million worth of players. They sold Archie Gray, they sold Jorginho Rutter, and they sold someone else. Come to in a moment, but they said Crescencio Somerville. They sold as well.
Yeah.
So the thing is, it's not even a case of like, who can we keep? Given we've got the transfer embargo as well, I hate to say it, but I think it might be open season somewhat in that if a bid comes in, I think the league will be saying you have to accept it, even if it's sort of slightly under the rate. And I think the issue is that the teams, it's the good players that are going to go, right? Who's going to want Harry Winks? Who's going to want Yannick Vestergaard? Who's going to want Connor Cody? I mean, over to you, Charles. I mean, who are the ones that, like, if they're lining up for us next season, you're going to be like, oh my God, which is the ones that really get to you?
What, that we're going to sell, do you think? Or, yeah, I mean, I don't think
that will line up. Like, let's say day one, the championship season, we're lining up against, let's say, for argument's sake, it's Bristol City away. And starting at number 9 position, it's Jordan Ayew. What's going through your head?
You mean Van Nistelrooy is going to be in charge? Oh God,
could be. Yeah, could be.
For all Jamie Vardy needs to go. I mean, give him a coaching role or something. We can't pay him $130,000-$40,000 a week. So we need a striker. Unfortunately, Tom Cannon's gone. So who are we going to get? I mean, who do we probably need one? And again, it's I don't know how quick the EFL is going to come in when the season finishes. Okay, are they going to say straight away, you've got a 5-point reduction and a transfer embargo? I don't think they can tell us what to take. If somebody comes in for 20 million for Mads and they say you've got to take it, I don't think they can do that. I mean, that's pushing the boat out, really. But we have to hold out for as much as we can because we got the parachute payment and whatever. But again, it depends who's in charge. I can see Van Nistelrooy doing what you just said, having these weird players out, because that's what he's doing now. And it'd be interesting now we're officially down. What team is he going to start picking?
To be fair, he did put Monga on again against Liverpool.
Yeah. Okay, but the weird thing is, I'm not a Harry Winks fan, but Harry Winks is gone. For what? For just disagreeing, I'm not going to stay at that. Okay, well. Yeah.
To be fair, though, to Brood, what he said there's standards that need to be kept. And he says, I made it from like a nowhere team and I got to play for Man United and Real Madrid. And it's like, if you want to reach that level, you've got to hit certain standards. I mean, the counterpoint to that is that, I would think those standards would give a shit about your team, Rude, which you clearly haven't for the last 4 months. But that's why I sort of see what Imran is. But look, just to wrap it up, because I want to bring some other ones on. Mm-hmm. So, what was going through? What's the first thing, your top, let's say, Charles, right? Sitting on your bundles of money, What do you do? How do you make Leicester City great again?
Yeah, it really start from scratch. Start losing. Take all this friendly stuff out. I was really upset when the camera went on him. He was smiling.
Yeah.
Tops was smiling. You're just losing 120 million. Don't you care? I'd be having a list here who I'm going to get rid of. Who's going to carry the can for this? It's not going to be me as top. It's who's going to go? And this last 2 years ago, they had an internal meeting and just like marked their own homework and carried on. No, get rid of people. It's 2 relegations in 3 years. Somebody has got to do something. He's got to wield the axe, and whoever it's going to be, he knows who's making these decisions. Who paid 25 million for Skip? But then on the other hand, who got Bilal? So you've got these people, these decisions are all over the place. And who really made the decision for Van Nistelrooy? They say it's top. Well, okay, we're stuck. But I don't know. I'd start wielding the axe and just trying to get people in. But he doesn't. Does he know the contacts? Who to get? If he gets rid of Rudkin, does he know who to replace him with?
Let's get real. Rudkin's not going. I think with delusional.
Yeah,
Anyway, Charles,
I don't think he is. All right, guys.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank
Keep it going. Keep speaking. Hopefully, call in next week. There'll be plenty more to talk about. So, see you next time. See ya.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
All right. Up next, are you ready for some pure cinema? I'm really intrigued what he's going to do now that we've officially gone down. It's the man, the myth, the legend, Ross. How you doing?
Name and he appears. Hello. Oh God. Hello. How's everyone doing?
Not bad.
Well,
not bad.
no, daft question.
Ross, I've not seen you for a long time.
Well, I would say you might not. Oh God. I don't know what's worse right now. The fact that I don't mean this show, but the fact that we're relegated, and in 5 minutes' time, Leeds United will be promoted. Due to obviously everything that happened last season. But before we get, end of the day, we gave them a lot of stick from when we went up and they didn't. It's only right they give it back to us. So anyone that's in this chat that gets message off Leeds United fans and stuff, if they sing about us, it's payback from, and stuff. So let's just take it on the chin or chins, depends how many you got, and go from there.
They'll be back down next season anyway.
Yes, but obviously, just for now, for the next so many months, we're going to grit our teeth for it. So, yeah, there we go. Yeah, I know what. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Right, where do we begin? So, obviously, Ruben Nistelrooy. Charbridge is in. Let's go to header. I know what Charbridge looks like. Anyway. It was the worst Leicester City manager ever. I don't want him in the Championship. Because I want to see us score a goal at home. It's now 134 days.
Crazy that. Since absolutely insane. Yeah.
Now we've had WrestleMania weekend and we still haven't scored. It's going to be next WrestleMania when we next score a goal at home at this rate. But it's disappointing. Obviously, I don't get why it takes playing Liverpool to start playing well. It's ridiculous. But and for managers, I said give it Andy King till end of the season. A few games ago, just until the end of the season. Get him a couple of games.
Are you surprised that Rude hasn't gone already? Because if you look at Southampton, literally the day after they went down, they sacked their second manager of the season. They wasted no time. Or is it just classic Leicester? And I'm bringing up this comment. You got Rudkin and Top laughing. They're going, "Oop, we did a whoopsie," and they're still working out what to do.
Honestly, I don't know what's more. I actually don't know what's more surprising, right? Now, to people that watch what I watch will understand it. I don't understand what's more surprising. The fact that Ruben Nistelrooy is still the Leicester City manager after all the defeats, 9 games in a row we haven't scored, or the fact that as of this Saturday, I will not be spraying my hair Saturday against Wolves. That's how much it's pain for me. Because I say people that know me, I spray my hair for every away game I go to, and I've decided I'm not going to spray it this weekend because it's just, I put a lot of effort into going, see my team, at least. I'm not saying we're going to win every single game, but I want us to at least try, and we haven't tried all season.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing.
You know what? Do you know when you asked the question about Ruben Nistelrooy? Do you know where I thought, oh my God, he's a he's the worst appointment ever when he decided to play Danny Ward in goal. But that's not having a dig at Ward again for the 100th time, because I always do that. But Enzo Maresca knew last season not to play him in any cup competitions, because we had so Hermansen, and then obviously we had Stolarczyk if Hermansen was either injured or just resting. Never, he didn't even. I don't think Danny Ward was even on the bench or anything like that. That's what real that is. I mean, obviously he had to come on against Newcastle because we had no goalkeeper, but you still can see 3 goals in 15 minutes, which is horrendous.
I mean, Danny Iverson's still in the squad, right?
So putting him on there is one thing, but to start him the week after, I mean, up until I saw that game, where he was in goal, I thought, oh, we've got a chance against Wolves here.
Yeah.
The moment I saw that's when I thought to myself, Ruud is not the man for Leicester City.
Especially what happened the week before in Newcastle, right?
That's what I'm saying. I was there, and I said in my match day vlog, I said, "Oh, Danny Ward's coming on." I said, "If it's 4-5-0 by the end of this game, you know why." And then obviously 15 minutes later, and I mean his contract's up this year, so we can have a party for that. That's probably the only good thing to come out of it.
Yeah. At least it'll free up some wages. So I'm hearing as well that, the Southampton manager, he had a clause in his contract that as soon as they get relegated, see you later. Yeah, but whereas with us, with Ruud van Nistelrooy, we haven't got that. There's no clause in our contract, so that's another boo-boo by.
Well, so, do you know what the thing is? I think they'll probably get rid of him at the end of the season now, because it'll be just a Leicester City thing to do. Now we can give Southampton a favour, let them draw against us, so then they don't have the joint worst record in Premier League history. But I think the only hope we've got now in the next 5 games is that we stop Forest from reaching Europe. I mean, obviously, I know that's
What do you guys think the score will be against Wolves? Because you know what, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we won that game.
Well, I'm going with my dad, and obviously they got relegated yesterday. There we go, and Leeds.
Yeah, Leeds and Burnley are promoted, so that's 2 teams we don't have to worry about next season.
Yeah. So. There you go. It's one of them. Anyway, but in regards to manager, we should get rid of him. I mean, people looking at Danny Roll from Sheffield Wednesday. He's a good manager.
Yeah.
Obviously, look what he did last season for Sheffield Wednesday. When he took over Sheffield Wednesday, they were bottom. They had 14 games. I think they drew 2 and lost them all. They were horrendous.
They were
in fact, we kind of started their revolution when we decided to draw against them. Because
I met you that game, didn't I? It was freezing cold.
I said we are not winning tonight because we never win it. And there's one thing that's guaranteed next season: we'll probably get 4 points from Hillsborough. So from Sheffield Wednesday. One's going to be away, 3 is going to be at home, hopefully. But the EFL. Speaking of the EFL, literally, what's that line that Darth Vader says to Obi-Wan? I've been waiting for you, Leicester. We meet again at last. The circle is now complete. When you left us, you were in the Premier League. Now you're in the EFL because they're waiting for us. Well, they are. They're basically, they literally are waiting for us.
Yeah, because I still don't know. Like, I'm so confused. I don't know what they can do. I've got no idea. Like, what rules that they're going to come back with and what loopholes they're going to find to get us. I've got no idea, and it's going to be intriguing to see what happens over the summer, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
That is brilliant. I love that. Before I do go, I have got my green screen. This is an horrendous one, right? It's that one. Zoom in a little bit. Right. So I'll read it to you in case you can't read it. So Leicester City have been relegated to the Championship 13 times in the club's history, and it's the most by any Premier League team. So basically, we're the most relegations from the English top flight. And we're number 13. Birmingham is 12. West Brom 11. Bolton and Man City are joint with 10. Burnley, Middlesbrough, Norwich, Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday and Sunderland have got 9.
There you go. Never boring with Leicester City, eh? And I've seen 6 of those relegations in my lifetime.
So for me, I've seen how many have I seen? So technically, I'm not going to count 1994 because I was only under 1, so I'm not going to count that one. So
Plastic. What a plastic you are, Ross. Not watching the games at 1 year old. Get out. No.
2001-2, when we
Yeah.
had Patata Pila, Dave Bassett, and then Mickey Adams towards the end.
Yeah.
2003-4, Mickey Adams with that one. Obviously the one to League One with Ian Holloway.
Correct.
Even though that season we scored the least and we actually conceded the second least in that season, which is weird. And then obviously 2 years ago,
And then
and now this one.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a horrible one. This is worse than any other, even League One, because it's just how they've given up. And like I said,
Yeah, I agree.
I stopped the
agree.
faith in the manager the moment he put Danny Ward in goal.
Yeah,
You
I think
know,
the other embarrassing thing is, right, that we've actually got relegated. No one's spoken about this, but we've actually got relegated with like 4 games to go.
5.
5 games to go.
5.
Yeah, so
That's a
these-
record for us.
that's
It's
just
These are
awful.
the next. These are the next games now. So Wolves away,
Yeah,
Southampton at home,
correct.
Forest away,
Yeah.
Ipswich at home,
Bournemouth
Bournemouth
away.
away. I mean, I'm hoping to get a ticket for Bournemouth. I'm going down for the weekend, so Bournemouth away. But again, we've only kept 1 clean sheet. Only 1 clean sheet in 2 Premier League seasons. So obviously this one at the minute 1. The year we got relegated. Oh, well, sorry. Up until the last bit. Sorry, I'll rephrase that. The last away clean sheet was Newcastle in 2023.
Yeah, 2 years ago almost.
And then our last home clean sheet, obviously, is this season against Bournemouth. I mean, you look back on it, Bournemouth, I mean, they're a cracking side. But just before I go, as I know you got a few callers waiting, doesn't matter how bad we are, 18 points. The fact that we took 4 points off Tottenham and 2 points off Brighton. So a third of our points have come from 2 teams. 2 from Brighton. Oh, wow. West Brom have sacked Tony Mowbray. It's just come from my notifications.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I'm surprised
Just
they've
come
done
up-
that. Okay.
Some of my it's just popped up on my notifications. I was hoping
Yeah.
that said Ruben this to her, then that would have been
No.
right.
Load it.
But no. Yeah, so another part in there in regards to what I've just mentioned. Because yeah, it's bad, isn't it?
Yeah, so
Exactly.
we just got to look forward to next season now, mate. That's all. That's all
Yes,
we can do.
exactly. I do look forward to it. I'm going to try and get a new shirt for next season and go from there. And that's pretty much it. I mean, for Wolves away, it would have been the same day we got promoted last season, getting relegated. So that would have been even more weirder.
Yeah.
But there you
All
go.
right, Ross, if you don't mind, thank you for your call.
No, there is. Take
Let us
care.
know how it goes when you're at the next game. We'll see you next
Yes.
time, yeah?
See you later.
See
See
ya.
you, Ross. Okay, keeping them coming. Next up, all the way from Ukraine, I believe it's Dimitri. You there? Here he is. Yep, summon him in. He'll arrive. How are you? How are you
Yeah.
feeling after relegation?
Well, a long time no see. Anil, Imran also, I saw you lots of times. Although there hasn't been anything interesting in the last few weeks apart from those 2 goals against Brighton.
Yeah.
But recently, our team of National Technical University of Ukraine, Igor Sikorsky Polytechnic Institute in Kyiv, won Kyiv chess tournament, and I took the 2nd place overall, and I got this medal.
Wow,
So
congrats.
I thought it would be a great idea to have at least some medal hanging on this shirt.
Yeah. Why not? Why not?
This shirt, yeah. Because I really feel sorry for him actually, because he was the only person who struggled for the shirt even this season. I still hope Jamie scores these 2 goals to make it to 200 goals for the club. It would be nice for him and overall nice ending of his career. Maybe he will retire, unfortunately, after this season. But I still think that he could help the team to boost maybe the confidence, to some moral characteristics of the new team that will
Dimitri,
be
did you
built.
not see his Instagram post today? he came out with a message, basically saying how disappointed and how sorry he was. But he didn't say anywhere in there. There was no cue in there to tell us that he's retiring or he wants to retire. So I've got a sneaky suspicion.
The rumor is he wants to keep going. There's even a rumor that he might try and stay in the Premier League, which I think is insane. But you never know.
Yeah, and I think he'll get his goals, Dimitri. I think against Southampton and Ipswich, you know, I've got a feeling that we will finally end up breaking the duck against these two teams. We'll finally get a home goal. And Vardy, you never know, might be at the end of one of those. So you never, it could still happen, mate. So keep your hopes up high.
Yeah, some weaker teams like Ipswich and Southampton will be next. So maybe. But I think Vardy is not that character that just will bring this news like Messi did. Like he said, "Oh, I'm quitting the national team," and then he rejoined and just play for next games. But I think Vardy, he's not that one to be blamed for this that happened. And he like criticizes himself. I understand that he can't just criticize Root, criticize the team. He should be a gentleman criticizing himself, but I don't think it's true. It's partially true, maybe because he's old. He's not really having like 90 pace like in FIFA.
It's an interesting topic. It's an interesting topic to have, Anil, as well, isn't it? Because I think Vardy is very isolated right now. When Daka came on yesterday, we looked a little bit more mobile up front because he was running after lost causes. He even created that disallowed goal for us. You know, he was making a nuisance of himself. Vardy, don't get me wrong, he can still finish, right? But I think he's just too isolated from the rest of the team. So when we are attacking, he can't get into those spaces. So, you know, again, it's a discussion to be had. Like, we need a player up there with him, helping him out, right? And supporting him.
The thing is that, you know, you got to remember that Championship football is going to change completely again. So against Liverpool, we were the team just sitting back, hanging on for dear God, a few attacks down the other end. Liverpool got all the ball, making chance after chance. Next season, Jamie Vardy ain't going to have to do much running about if he's playing for us, right? Because you need someone that can finish. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, I'm guessing, would you keep him, Dimitri? Would you keep JB in the team?
Certainly. I would keep him, but not in a pair with Daka. Not with Daka. It's a shame that Root will stay, but the team still needs to be rebuilt somehow. I would really like to make a promotion next year straightforward. But a real strategy is needed to build a worthy project for the long term, I guess.
What's your views on Root? Do you want him to stay or do you want him to go?
Certainly, I wanted him to go, but I know that about PSR that it's not really easy to get rid of him, unfortunately. But like Bournemouth did, they relegated and returned even stronger.
They did have new ownership though. Like people forget this, but Bournemouth were taken over by this US guy. He's very smart, and they've gone about their business pretty good after that.
Yeah, we need a good academy like Jimmy Monga. He was pretty nice for his age. Not Yamal, but close. From the academy to successful cheap signings, good scouting. And I think Foxes have to build everything from scratch, because keeping this skips, Fasses, and all these people, it's not really profitable for future. So I think I'm really worried that Radkin and Root are staying. It means that there are still hardly will be some positive changes, but I hope for the best. I hope Vardy, Woyo, and Didi, maybe Mats will stay, and others should be just exchanged for some other players. So maybe even if we won't be sure if a certain if a certain person will perform well in the future for our team. But we should replace these current people just because we've seen enough of them. We've seen enough.
Quick question for you, Dimitri, just before we hand off to someone else. What happens if we can't sign anyone? Which is possible. I mean, this is something that a lot of us might have to get a head around. What happens if, and we still have to sell, by the way. What happens if we have to sell a couple of our key players? Let's play out this scenario. Let's say Mads Hermansen, Wilfred Ndidi, Bilal El Khanous, they all leave the club, but we can't sign anyone. How are you feeling then? Start of the season, both of you. But I'll start with Dimitri first.
We will become next Luton.
No. What about you, Imran? What would you think if that was the case?
I think we'd have to look at the youth, right? We're going to have to look at our academy and start playing some of these youth players. I mean, I know Ben Nelson will be back next season as well. So, there are some really good players in our academy. I mean, I don't watch the academy that much, but there's a lot of praises for our youth team. So yeah, I think that's the only way we'd have to go. And that saying, as one wise man once said on Match of the Day, you can't win nothing with kids. That could come back and haunt us again, right? Like we could prove the doubters wrong, and we could have a generational pool of talent there, and they could do the business for us. So let's hope.
That's all we need.
It should be some great performance by the youth, but also some experienced players like Wardy and others, Andy Kim and the others. So
and I think Ricky P is massive, right? Like Ricardo.
It looks like he's staying based on his language. He says like he wants it, that he feels for the club. I mean, that's huge if you ask me. Maybe because he's missed a season and his wages.
And he's been here for now, how long? 6-7 seasons now. He's part of the furniture, so he's settled probably. So he'd be if he can keep fit, he'd be massive for us next season as well as a leader.
Yeah, he'd probably be the best player in the division. All right, if you don't mind, Dimitri, it's lovely to hear from you. I'll go for it. Yeah.
Remark for answering Ellen's question. I think Radkin is crazy, but he's not crazy enough to sacrifice the team completely. So I think he should sign someone if the team eventually would sell someone.
But what if he's not allowed? This is my point, right? Because as Graham has brought up here, the EFL will create new rules just for us. You've got to remember that we basically made the EFL look like idiots, and they will remember this, right? And I can tell you, every other club in the Championship, they hate Leicester. They hate Leicester because Leicester have cheated multiple times. The first time we got out the Championship, people said that Leicester bent the rules because they beat the spending limits, and then they've done it again. So I'm warning you, there is the possibility that they say, that, even though you've got parachute payments and you can meet this wage bill, we don't have confidence in you, so you've got to sell even more players. And they might be, and you know what, just because we hate you, no signings for you. So anyway, you think about that. You can get back to me next week with your answer, but that is a possibility.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you don't mind, lovely to speak to you, Dimitri, just because we've got a lot of callers want to get through them. So thank you, and we'll see you next week, hopefully. Take care. All right, next up, we're going to go from one side of the world all the way to the other. It's back for the other Dallas Fox. Let's bring him up. It's my main man, Craig.
Hey.
Happy post-relegation day. How are you?
I thought you were going to say happy post-Easter, which is a lot better day than post-relegation day. But, I'm doing all right, I guess. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, not bad.
I'm not doing that well, to be honest with you.
I'm a little surprised. Do you really think Ruud's going to be back next season? You seemed a little positive about the possibility of him being our manager.
No, it's just a thought I had, right? Like I was expecting he'd be gone today or, in the next couple of days. So it was just a thought that was, I was trying to look at it in a positive way, right? Like if he was to stay, what didn't we give him? When did he start scuppering his attitude? And it was probably during that transfer window because he was promised funds. He was promised players and he didn't get them. And that's when I think the morale in the team and his motivation, I saw it just decline. And maybe that's what he wanted. And if he keeps, when he did join, and I told Anil this at the top of the show, he was asked a number of times by reporters that, you're going to use your networks in the football echelons, in Holland and at Manchester United, and he was like, yeah, I'm going to use these contacts, bring a few of these youth players in. He never got the opportunity, did he? And maybe that put him off in the end. I don't know, but look, we'll know this week. I'm sure it's going to happen that sometime this week. We'll get some sort of communication from the club or from newspapers what's going to happen. So, what's your thoughts?
If it's not going to be today, or probably today or tomorrow at the earliest, then I don't understand. I don't think they're going to get rid of him until the season's up. I think they're going to keep him around, whatever it is. They don't want to pay him off. They just don't want to make changes. They're interested in just imploding the whole thing, and just starting all over again once we get relegated. But no, I don't want Vardy to play in the U.S. I have no desire to watch Vardy in the U.S. So Ray, no, thank you. But I mean, I just don't think if they don't do it the next couple of days, he's not going to go anywhere unless he quits, which I don't see him doing either because he's already said, "Hey, I'm seeing this through. We're getting ready for next season. I got to make sure this team is prepared." He's saying all the right things, but he sure is awfully fun with those Liverpool players after the match yesterday. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. That was the one. It's funny everybody's caught on that because I saw it too, and I was thinking, man, I was like, I appreciate you. I know after the matches, a lot of these guys know each other, right, from different times, and it's nice to go over there. That I don't know, him and little Elliot seem to be having a really good time out there on the pitch, and some of the other players. I'm thinking, man, tone it down a little bit.
My thoughts are right. He can do all of that, but do it behind closed doors. He can do it, in the dressing room. Why are you doing it? We've just been relegated. I was standing there, just leaving the ground, and I'm seeing him, hug Slot and talk to Harvey Elliott and all this stuff. And I'm like, why are you doing this right in front of us? We're grieving relegation, and you've got a smile on your face, hugging everyone. See, those kind of things irk a fan, doesn't it? So.
Yeah, I tell you what, I want to go back to something what Ross said. He brought up that stat about being relegated, the number of Premier Leagues being relegated. Now, I'm not sure I understood what he said. I want to make sure I got this right before I tell him he's an idiot. Is he saying that's the number of times the teams have been relegated from the Premier League, or just relegation in general?
That's a good question. I think
it's from the top division. So because obviously we haven't been the Premier League isn't that long.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why I said because I'm like going, okay, wait a minute. How many other teams haven't even had the opportunity to be relegated? All right. I would rather be relegated the most and have the opportunities to play in those top divisions than be some team stuck down in the Northern South League, whatever that thing is, in League 7, and be just staying there. And don't get me wrong, those players are kind of fun to visit and nice to see, and it's a good time. But if you have any ambitions, you're not going anywhere almost from those leagues. So at least we've had the opportunity to be relegated, even if it's the most. Great. That just means we're the most worst successful relegation team of all time. I mean, I'll take that.
Yeah, so my argument is that if you've been relegated 13 times, you must have been promoted a few times as well, right?
Yeah.
So,
but how many times have we stayed up? So
do you prefer that drama, Craig, as well? Because there is an argument to say that wouldn't you rather be a team that has highs and lows rather than just mid-table every single season?
Oh, yeah, I would hate to be 11th all the time, right?
Yeah.
Because after about 3 years, that's all your expectations are. You never have an expectation to be top 5. You go, well, we don't have to worry about relegation because Leeds just got promoted, so we're good, or Burnley, whatever, and so you don't worry about it. But no, I mean, you live for the drama, right? Isn't that what you want? You want the excitement. You want to be able to cheer and get excited about possibly, battling for Champions League or European football, or the stress of relegation like we've been doing the last week. Of course, I can't wait until my next favorite date is June 26th, because that is the date the championship schedule comes out for next season. So I'm going to wait for that date. I'm highly anticipated. I can't wait to get it. And then I'm going to start planning my trip so I can come back over to see some matches next season, the championship. And hopefully maybe this time I actually get to see a win in person.
I feel like you're the face of Leicester City's US content as well. So no doubt they'll be dreaming for you to come back. And Ray, I agree with what Ray says here. Palace is a great example. They just never have anything interesting, it feels like. But
it's kind of, I mean, they're exciting to watch every once in a while. And you go to the matches probably and you go, hey, this is fun. But your expectation is they're going to finish 12th, 11th, or 10th every time.
And Brentford have become like that as well, haven't they? They're just a stable mid-table team. They have a few great results, and then they have a few clanging results, but they always do enough to stay in the league in mid-table.
As much as I don't like Everton, I bet Everton's a fun. I mean, those guys got to love it because they're always going, "Oh my God, please get us out of the bottom half," And then when they get to the top half, they're like, "Yay!" So I mean, they're coming after us and they want a points deduction and all that good stuff. It's exciting. I mean, come on, winning the championship, winning.
Is it true that Everton have never been relegated? Is that true? I think that's a stat, right?
That's because we fucked up. We should have relegated them too.
But
that was a major balls up.
But in their whole history, they've never been relegated. That's just crazy. And we've been relegated 13 times. So it goes to show we've won.
How many times have Everton won the championship? Haha, exactly.
That's what you start looking at. Start counting trophies, right? You start doing that. So I will say, you know what? It gets boring being winners all the time. Sometimes you got to lose to get that fan base back and get them excited again. So
do you know what, Greg? I think that's a really good point because obviously people will ask, why do you support your team? Why do you support this? And I always hate those people. The ones in Leicester. There'll be when Liverpool win the title, there'll be a lot of kids wearing their Liverpool shirt in Leicester, right? But that's just. And in 5 years' time, when it's Man City or Chelsea or whatever, will they support?
I couldn't believe it in Leicester. I could see there's so many Haaland shirts now. It's just mad. Like Man City shirts in Leicester. Like this is over the last 4 or 5 years, this trend started. Like Man City shirts have become popular, and I can't stand it.
They win.
That's the same. And you get the same thing in the States, right? The same thing in the States. And when I started watching Premier League like 15, 16 years ago, everybody's like, "Oh, you got to be a Liverpool fan. You got to be an Arsenal fan." And I was like, "Or United." That was the other one. You got to be a United fan. So, well, first off, everybody likes United, so screw them. And then Chelsea. I started watching Chelsea. I'm like, I don't like those guys. They're out. And so, I just never hooked onto a team. It took me about 3 years to actually find Leicester in the championship to go, okay, that's the guys I like. I like those guys.
What made you choose them?
The style of play at the time. So there was was it 2013, 2014 when they won the championship and got promoted? And I caught them on TV. I got to see one match. That was it. And the whole time it was like, hey, let's get the ball and frick it over the top, and Vardy's going to go chase it down and score. And it was just so much fun. More so than the possession-based pass that you were getting from a lot of teams. And so I just like, you know what? I love underdogs. They're my underdog, and I picked them, and I've stuck with them ever since. So here we are. I mean,
fantastic story.
Yeah. So, that's and that's a lot of the stories you get from here in the States from people who pick Leicester. Some of them are from there. We've got a guy who went to university there for a while, but from the States. But I mean, a lot of it is they just come across them and just find them exciting. That's what it was. So,
if you know any multi-billionaires, Craig, that want to buy the Leicester City club and change the ownership, introduce them to Leicester. That might be where we're going. If you don't mind, though, just because we've got a lot of people on, I'll let you go. But call in next time. We'll probably be speaking a lot, I would imagine, between now and the start of next season. So take care. We'll see you next time. All right. Just before I bring on my next guest, everyone, if you don't mind, hit us the like button. If you don't mind, help out the algorithm. 141 people here. I think we're up to 50 likes now. But yeah, do smash that like button if you don't mind. Otherwise, we had Reese earlier, so I think it's not really a call-in show unless we have his uncle as well. So let's bring him on. It's been a while. Mr. Clivo, how you doing? Is your camera paused? How you doing? Are you there?
Yeah,
we might have been.
We've
got the other one. There's two Clivos in my chat.
Right. Okay. Well,
can you hear us now? I think you're good now.
Technology, I'm useless. So, and I'm having major problem. So I'll make this brief. I think for me to be enthusiastic next season, I need to see a statement of intent from the club, the objectives, and I think we'll find out what the intention is by the outcome of what happens with it. So for me, if they don't show an intent to be promoted, he will definitely walk.
Van Nistelrooy?
Yeah.
Okay.
He did say something about that, didn't he? He said that if we align, I can't remember what word he used, but he said that we'll see if we've got the same vision, or he said something along those lines yesterday. So I think he's playing it coy as well. He wants to see if his vision and the board's vision are aligning.
I'm confused about that. I really am. I mean, as you know, Neil, I was a bit of an advocate of his, and I still feel if he had a good team, he would pretty much implement his style and do all right.
Yeah.
I think he'd do better at Man U than the Man U manager is now because he's got the players to implement his style.
I mean, he was done dirty, wasn't he, Van Nistelrooy? Like, I mean, if he'd have come in either the summer or he started in, he waited out this season, he wouldn't have this sort of, depressing streak on him. But at the same time, I don't think anyone thought it could go as badly as it did. I mean, it's truly been a horrendous appointment, isn't it?
No, and I think his next move has to be very strategic on his part because his stock is low and his feelings will be very hurt. But also, as a Leicester fan, I've got to think what's best for me because Saturdays have been the most depressing, probably in my whole time watching the club, and I'm nearly 52 years of age, and I'm a lifelong Leicester fan. Although I must admit, in the mid-70s, I did have a bit of a thing for Liverpool. Yeah. But don't hold that against me.
Yeah, so I think I've kind of got used to it. Coming home from a game and not scoring and losing, it's just become like, you know what to expect, right? It's always a zero when we're at the King Power Stadium, and the zero's to us, and the other team's going to score 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5. It's just one of those one of those seasons, and it's kind of numbed me now. I don't even get mad. I don't get angry anymore after coming out of the King Power because we know what's going to happen, right?
No, I mean, I'm starting to think about hobbies that I could take up.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
it's not enjoyable, and I think unless the club come out with a statement and say, "Look, we made a mistake." Again, I mean, I have to say I do like Vardy's statement today. That was fantastic. If the club come out and say something similar, I know they've got to be a bit kind of politically correct, but if they come out and say something with that kind of intent, I think more fans will get behind it. But to say nothing and to keep the same team backstage, for me, I'm going to find it hard. I watched the Championship last season, and I'll be honest with you, the last game I attended that season was QPR, and I walked out of there thinking, I can't bear any more of this.
Wow.
Yeah, I think Clivo's gone, has he?
No, it's happened sometimes. All right, well, he couldn't. QPR got him so much. He's emotionally distressed on the stream. So we'll come back to him maybe if he's later. We'll bring him off. All right, next up, let's just check my order, see if I've got it here. I think I know who it is. I just want to make sure I don't screw anyone over. Daz, are you ready? Yes, cool. How you doing, mate? How you doing, Daz?
It's been a long time, guys.
It has.
This season's forced it upon me, unfortunately. I'm pretty much on the same par as Vardy. The way that I look at the season, it's just been an absolute S show. I'm not going to swear, don't worry. Yeah, I wanted to vent my frustrations to everybody and then maybe just have a bit of a hot take on something, if that's all right with you guys. Just get your opinions as well. Ahead. It's quite fun. So yeah, I knew we were going to get relegated the second we appointed Steve Cooper, and we had the horrific transfer window that we had, as far as I'm concerned. Ipswich Town did much better business than us. From someone that's gone back-to-back promotions, you spend, I think, a cumulative is 140 million, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I'm not going to name players because it's not their fault because we sign them at the end of the day. But we all know who we shouldn't have spent £25 million on. The only exciting talent is Bilal El Khanous. And he's 100% leaving next season or this season for PSR, whatever it's going to be. He is going. There is a release clause in his contract, allegedly. Mads Manson, he's going to have to go. Again, it's buyers, unfortunately. And apart from that, lads, I think it's just a case of whoever we are going to try and sell. I think it's like you said earlier, Anil, it's going to be a all-you-can-eat buffet. Literally, everyone in the Premier League is just going to go, look, who can we get? Can we ship this bloke off here? You know, because the EFL lads, they're licking the lips at us. They're just going to go, right, from what you guys said earlier, and it's I think this is one of Leicester's big problems, and I know a lot of people are going to hate me, but I don't really care. I'll do this for the joke. Jamie Vardy's past his sell-by date for Leicester, and it's not because of his ability or his lack of enthusiasm for the club or anything. It's just we're not Leicester City fighting in the top 10 anymore. We're Leicester City on the brink of PSR every single season now, and probably will be for a few years. Can you guys genuinely justify 140, 150 grand a week for someone? I love Jamie Vardy. I love him, but I can't justify it. Can you?
No, I mean, there's that part of me that thinks that he may stay on, but with reduced terms, maybe with a bigger goal bonus or something like that, and with a promotion bonus maybe. But he could stay on, but he's going to have to definitely take another pay cut. I think, Anil, I'm not sure. Did he take a pay cut last time we got relegated? I think he did take a slight pay cut, didn't he?
Well, I think this is a bit of a misnomer because I don't think he's on 140 grand right now. I believe they negotiated down. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he's cheap. He probably could well be on 100 grand or something like that. Or he's probably got something where he's the joint top earner at the club. That said, let's play devil's advocate. Even if he's on 90 grand a week for his age and a number of goals, you could still say exact same thing. And even if he takes a pay cut and he's down to only 40 or 50k next season, is it worth it? I think the issue is, though, as we mentioned this earlier, is that we may actually be in a position where we can't sign players. This is a very realistic possibility. And if that is the case, also, Daka, he's coming around to, I think, only 1 year left on his contract. So the thing is that, I don't know, because the problem is with King Power is that in the past, they have let players go for free. But really, they should be thinking, Daka, even if you only get 5 million from him, that's 5 million you're not going to get. But well, you tell me that, though, because knowing them, they probably will keep him. So
my biggest thing is this, and I've supported Leicester City thanks to my granddad for 33 years. Since I was out my mum's womb, mate, I've been in a Leicester City shirt and I've been listening to Leicester City on the wireless before I could go to Filbert Street. So I feel like I've been there, done that, got the T-shirt with this team, and I always will. I'll support Leicester if we go to the national team. Let's, not speak it into existence, but do you know what I mean? Like, for me, King Power now are at the point we've got people taking it to the extremes and doing banners over the sky, right? Rightfully so in some degrees, because I do feel like the board are fucking clueless at times with a lot of the decisions, and people are in jobs who probably shouldn't be in jobs, quite frankly. I don't care if it's mates rates. But for me, as a fan who has a season ticket, who goes every year, goes away, and supports the team with more tops than my wife cares to cares to admit that I own. They need to have a fantastic turnaround now. It needs to be, if we can't buy players, I think this is why Jeremy Monga is going to be here. I think Jake Evans and all these players, Silko Thomas, I watch the youth team quite a bit. So, Mads Manson going doesn't really worry me as much because we've got Jakub Stolarczyk, who's phenomenal, quite frankly. He's actually held himself better than Danny Ward, who was a Premier League goalkeeper. So, I'm not scared, guys. I think, next season, if it is Rude, I'll be shocked. I don't think we can put all of the blame at Rude. When we had Cooper, not one single... Well, not a good thing came out of Leicester City's training ground. It was always something The players don't like this. The players are this. They don't like this. They don't buy into that. You got Wilfred Ndidi and Harry Winks screaming at the touchline to the Gremlin because they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I remember that. That was very worrying, wasn't it, when you saw that? Yeah.
But then with Rude, again, it's not been great, and we've broken records in the wrong state of things. But it's the Premier League. We didn't, in my opinion, strengthen to the level that is required now, and we bought the wrong players, in my opinion. You know, Bobby Decordova-Reid, bit part player. Jordan
Did you see him yesterday in the game? I hardly noticed him. Didn't see him yesterday.
I hate it. I absolutely hated Decordova-Reid for me and Jordan Ayew for me are probably tied worse with Skip. Now, Skip for me, it's not his fault, but the other two guys, it's a retirement home. You know, we've got Yannick Vestergaard, who's 30 odd years old with a 3-year contract. He's not even playing, mate. I don't know, boys. I worry for the future of Leicester, and this is why I want, if we're going to get rid of Rude, get rid of him this week. You've got 5 days. The manager has literally said on Sky Sports he wants to know soon.
This week, yeah.
Yeah, he wants to know. Give the bloke his answer. If you're going to sack him at the end of this season or the start of next season, so it's a new financial fair play, whatever, it's PSR, whatever, fine. Just let him know, let the fans know, so then they can find the new manager. But if we're going to stick with him as well, let us know. It's secretive at King Power at the minute, and it annoys me.
Yeah, but I think we'll know more. Like this week, we're definitely going to know bits and pieces by, I think, Friday. We'd know something. I'm hoping anyway.
I'd hope so. But yeah, I'll let you go, guys.
And before you go, mate, do you know you mentioned about Bilal El Khanous? You're saying you're 100% sure that he's going to leave. I don't know. You know, I think you're going to need a bid coming in, whatever the release clause is. But he's not done much this season, right? 2 goals, 2 assists.
My only thing with Bilal, and obviously the reason I'm saying he's 100% going to go, if you look around that squad, and new, old, whatever, we paid 20 odd million pounds for him. If you look at our squad, I could tell you 2 or 3 players that other Premier League teams would turn around and go, he's all right. Madsen Manson, Bilal El Khanous, and personally, I'd say Mavadidi's worth a shot for a mid-table, low side that's maybe coming up like a Burnley or like you know, these players that will take on their man and do something. Bilal El Khanous, I think he's got I'd say probably 35 million pound. The club can make a nice tidy profit, and that's it. It saves 35 grand a week on their wage bill. I don't know. I think he is going to go, guys. I do genuinely think it is. And we've got Alves. I think it's just going to be season of the youth next season, boys. I think that's what it's going to be. But hey, I'm sure we'll get to a playoff season next year, and with a 10-point deduction, I'm sure we'll get 6th or 5th. It's the hope that kills you. But anyway, guys, thanks for
cheers, guys. Pleasure, mate. Yep. See you later.
Get the likes up.
Yeah. Thank you, doing our job. Thank you. Bye-bye. Just before I bring on our next guest, as an interesting comment, I'll ask you about this, Imran. Do you find it strange that the club haven't really acknowledged relegation? If you look at it on the official site, it just says we've confirmed our place in the championship. Ooh, get ready.
As if we didn't know.
Yeah.
I think it will come, though. I think it will come. It's just a matter of time. I think they're just trying to write the communication first, right? They want it to be right because they know the fans are going to... there's going to be an uproar either way, so let's see what they come up with. But it's due, and it's a bank holiday weekend as well. They need their time off, right? Probably walking their dogs around the training ground or something. We don't know.
Absolutely. All right, let me bring on my next guest. Good to see him. Here he is, Ryan. How you doing? Long time no see. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, Anil and Moran. How are you guys?
We're just depressed. Let's be honest with you. I mean, do you know what? I don't know about you, Imran. I don't know about you, Ryan, but even though obviously we knew we've been relegated for a long time, it's just seeing things like, you know, welcome back to the championship and officially the R next to the name. And the fact that there's 15 points still to play for and we're relegated already is just... Even if when we hired Cooper, I thought we might go down with 4 games to go, but 5. Come on. So but it's not about me, it's about you. So go on, talk to us, Ryan. What's going through your head at the moment?
Well, all I can say is I'm not completely too upset about this relegation compared to last time because we all pretty much expected this would happen. I knew this would happen. I pretty much say after the January window shut, we hardly signed anyone really. So it's just no surprise that this is happening really. But we're on verge of the lowest ever points tally in a season in our history. Yeah. I mean, we got 18 points. Our current lowest is 28. I mean, I just can't see how we're going to get anywhere near that with this team. It's shockingly bad. And before I continue, I've got a couple of stadium holes to show you guys.
Go on.
Oh, nice.
I'm sure you can see.
Oh, Filbert Street
model. Yeah.
I used to sit on the sea. You know where the sea is? That's where I used to sit.
Really? That's good view from there.
Yeah.
Mate, that ground was iconic, even though it was rubbish. It was some great memories there.
Yeah. I was in the calling stand. Oh, and there's the KP
Stadium. The KP.
There we go.
Oh, very nice. How we got those, Ryan? Do you make them yourself or something?
I think you buy them. You can buy them.
You can buy them.
You
can actually buy them. So it took me quite a bit of time to get those done, but I've got those in my merchandise. But yeah.
I thought you were going to show me the King Power with, like, I don't know, it being on fire or something like that to summarize the current situation of the club. But, well, that would maybe be in bad taste, to be fair, but you know what I mean.
It would, but yeah. And can I just say, in regards to Van Nistelrooy, he should be given the red card. That's what he should be given. Why is he not fired already?
Yeah.
Goodness me.
But what do you think about next season then? Are you optimistic? Are you not sure what's going to happen depending on what the EFL do to us? What are your thoughts for next season?
I was just about to come on to this point because I made this mention about what Kieran Maguire got back to me when I messaged him about, I think it was a few weeks ago, the start of the month. I asked him about, are we in danger of being placed under registration transfer embargo by the EFL that prevents us from bringing players in? And he came back to me, replied back saying that he suspects that we will be okay for a month or two because the EFL will have to gather the evidence of the breach of the rules. That's what he's got back to me on. So it gives me hope that I think we'll be okay on bringing players in.
Yeah, well, let's see if that's the case. Now that you've given us that information, EFL might be already at it trying to gather the evidence, right?
Yeah, they probably might do. I have a little bit more hope having read that, so I've been.
Okay. Do you know what? The last time this happened is that basically Leicester City settled out of court. I don't know if you remember this, but basically a few seasons after we got promoted, all the other teams are like, Leicester cheated. They spent more than what's allowed in the PSR. And Leicester said, well, no, if you look at your rules, it wasn't really said how much you could or you couldn't spend. So they made, because basically they got the extra funding from the King Power sponsorship. That's how they did it. And they settled out of court. So to be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what Top takes the chairman of the EFL out for dinner and he goes, oh, it's so bad what we did. Oh, what's that underneath your seat? Is that a massive envelope full of £1 million? I don't know where that came from. And you know, the situation could go away. We'll have to see. But they might just be like, no, we have to make an example of them this time round and can't have the corruption.
Yeah, it's a massive undertaking next season for sure. But like our caller is saying, we have to be positive. Let's see what happens if we can sign the players next season, and we strengthen in the right areas. I think we'll be okay for the playoffs for sure.
Yeah, well, we've got to make sure to begin with. We've got to sell first and get rid of some of the deadwood that we don't need anymore. And also, we're going to have to sell the likes of Hermanson and El Canoes and that.
Yeah, I just can't see us selling. I can't see us selling people like Vestergaard, Winks. I just can't
because they own too much money.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
They might go out on loan though. That could be the one, like what happened with Samare, right? I mean, I wonder what happened with Samare this time around as well. If he's going to stay,
yeah, that's true.
He's still got 2 years left, hasn't he, in his contract?
Yeah, so I think he won't be. I don't know. It would surprise me if he got a move. I think Ndidi.
I think Ayu's got 2 years left to run on his contract as well.
Yeah, and Bobby Reed's got 3. Oh God. Yeah.
So, who gave him a 3-year contract? It's madness, absolute madness.
John Rodkin gave him it. That's what we know, and it's pathetic. That's for sure. And it's probably what Chip says. We got rid of Deadwood when we went down, then we just signed them back when we came back up.
Yeah, we did. And that was under Cooper's watch. And by the way, I was listening to the radio's Leicester forum and what Planner said, and he came out and said that Steve Cooper had most of the say on the signings in the summer. So,
well, that should never be allowed, if you ask me. That shows you how they just don't have a clue, that they rely too much upon the manager, and the manager can change like every 10 months.
Because we all knew that Steve Cooper was their man walking when he was first appointed. That we were never really on board with. So I can't understand why you give Steve Cooper that amount of power in the transfer market to begin with. I just think it's poor.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, Ryan, thank you very much. I love all the props. I don't know what you're going to bring out the next time. Maybe it's going to be... I'll be honest with you. I've got my turtleneck in that wardrobe. I was going to bring it out and start cutting it up, but Van Nistelrooy hasn't been sacked yet. But you might see that happen later on this week. We'll see. I thought it was going to go already. But yeah, pleasure. Thank you very much. And give us a call next week. You know, see you later. Bye-bye. All right, couple more left. We've got 3 more left. Next up, we're going to bring South Africa's finest. Always the trendiest looking. Oh, he's rubbing his hands already. Let's bring him on. Ethan, what's up, man? How are you doing with relegation? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, guys. I didn't know we got relegated. I was too busy celebrating my Easter. You know, I was having a job at the time.
Breaking news. Yeah.
But yeah, it's obviously disappointing. Like no one wants to experience it, but just the way that it happened, I think you could see that some of the players they're playing for the careers now, and yeah, it's just a bit of a stinky situation right now.
Yeah, do you know what? That's probably why performances have improved. I think you asked me that earlier, Imran, or one of the callers did, like, where have we played better the last few weeks? And it's honestly because they know that they're not going to be playing for Leicester. So their agents told them, well, do you want to be £1 million worse off this time next year? If the answer's no, Steffi, better start cracking some goals in, lad, you know.
Exactly. And maybe it's because the pressure's off as well, right? Like, it's kind of done and dusted. Maybe that's the reason why. So, yeah, it's a sad state of affairs. So, Ethan, what's your view on Ruud van Nistelrooy? Stay or go?
Nah, I think he needs to go. Like, I've been a strong advocate for him to leave at the end of the season. I think it doesn't help him leaving now. But like I said last week, a Ruud preseason doesn't excite me at all. I think we've seen the free-flowing football against the likes of City, and then we've seen the defensive football against Chelsea, Newcastle's, and it's just really not worked. So for me, he has to go. I think for his own career as well, it's not really worked out.
Well,
yeah, I just want to ask you.
Yeah, go. Yeah, give us your opinion on the game and everything. Yeah.
Oh no, the game was all right. I think the Daka goal should have stood. We didn't really create much. Thomas had a good game. I was questioning why you were starting, but I think it's been the same thing with Ruud for the whole season. Really, like players would have a good game and then they wouldn't start the next, and then players would have a bad game and they'd start. So like it's very reminiscent of Brendan when Marty and Ward would start. So it's been one of those seasons. But I just want to ask you guys, where do you think, if you look at the season as a whole, where do you think the season went wrong?
I know you can go first. Go ahead.
I mean, it went wrong as soon as Enzo Maresca left. Let's be honest with you. I mean, that was a real kick in the nads to lose him. And I think it went wrong because then the next appointment was key and Steve Cooper just wasn't it. Now, I think to be fair to Steve Cooper, he did a much better job than Van Nistelrooy did. And I think if he was in charge, I think we'd probably have as much as 8 points more, to be honest with you. But that's still, if you look at how many, like you got to say Wolves, fair play to them. Vitor Pereira, a lot of people thought that was a bit of a clown appointment, but actually he's turned out to be a fairly inspirational one. You know, because I thought there's no way they're going to hit 30 points. They might hit 40 by the end of the season. That's an incredible turnaround. So that kind of meant we had no chance. But I think the reason why I say this and I think why it's so sort of depressing is that like Cooper then, as we just mentioned, the last caller there with Ryan, and he said that then he had control over the transfers and he's changed the style of the team. Because the thing is with Ipswich, like I think Ipswich, they don't get enough pelters, to be honest with you, because they spent all that money and have still been terrible. But the one thing you can say is that going into next season, they're going to have still all these players that are 1 year older, Premier League experience now, that are still got resale value. They're still going to play like fairly good dynamic football. Whereas with us, like, what do you do with Jordan Ayew? What do you do with Bobby Reed? What do you do with Yannick Vestergaard? These are like big problems and can, really influence you. So for me, that's where it went wrong. And I think we will not speak a lot about, the Keane and Dewsbury Hall situation, but that was, of course, forced upon us. But yeah, I've said this for a while. And this is the thing, is that everyone wants Rude to go, fair enough. But it's like, really, Rodkin's got to be the one that was got to go. He's not going to go, but we need a director of football. You need to have someone that says, okay, the next 5 or 10 years of Leicester City look like this. And so because of that, this is going to be our vision. We're going to explain it to everyone. Like the guy who said, like, we need a vision. Like Clivo said, I want to see a vision, a strongly worded vision. It needs to be something like 5 years from now, Leicester City are going to be in Europe and we're going to have Jeremy Monger, Jake Evans, Will Alves. They're going to be our MSN. It can be total bullshit, right? But just something like that, you might be, oh, that sounds good. Yeah.
Sells the vision. Sells the vision.
Yeah. Right now, the vision will be that, I don't know, we'll be charging you £150 on match day so you can have a plastic clapper and a free cob or something like that. But so over to you. And what about you? Where do you think it went wrong?
So I think PSR was massive, right?
Yeah.
I think that was massive. Like if I'm a player and Leicester City approach me and I'm thinking, hold on, these guys are getting a 10-point deduction, I'm going to be thinking I'm not coming, right?
Yeah.
I'd be going to another club. So that I think that was huge. PSR was massive. I think also we got 3 key players injured at the wrong time. Like Fatawu was a massive miss.
Yeah.
Ricardo Pereira and then Mads as well getting injured.
Cooper wasn't using Fatawu, just going to throw that out there. Or Ricardo.
He wasn't using Fatawu, but he was using Buonate, right? So he was getting a tune out of Buonate. The thing with Rude is he can't use Fatawu, but he's not even used Buonate, right? So we need somebody that can break lines, on the wing, who can take on a man. And sometimes you are going to lose the ball, but again, with this possession style, Rude don't want you to lose possession, etc. It didn't work for Buonate as well. You could see. I mean, we get frustrated in the crowd, right, when we see Buonate lose the ball in really silly positions. But we know he can also create. Could have got the equalizer for us in the last kick of the game yesterday, right?
He had a bit of a stinker, if you ask me, on Sunday. Ethan, what about you? Where did it go wrong?
Yeah, I'll say the appointment of Cooper. I think if you're looking at the transition from Enzo, you'd want someone like Rude to come in first, and then have Steve Cooper be the firefighter backup plan, right?
Yeah.
So appointing Cooper at first is like you guys are very desperate. Then the transfer window for me was a bit shambolic. I think there were very optimistic, ambitious links. Your Matthias Sewell, your Adam Slozik. You had the makings of a good window there, but then to spend 25 million on Oliver Skip is like, come on. and the whole thing with that transfer is that they didn't know Ndidi was going to re-sign. So they signed him to replace Ndidi, then Ndidi re-signed. So now you have a 25 million player on the bench. 25 million. But I think the players also have to take some accountability. Another watershed moment, I think, is that Copenhagen party. the enzyme mystery. It's like, come on, guys, be professional. And then I think the lack of a proper strike force at times. Playing Vardy and Daka up front, they haven't played up top together since Brendan. They haven't really got that sort of link. So I think that there was an over-reliance on Vardy for goals, and you can see that everyone was trying to find him in stupid ways. But and then obviously the injuries. I think the worst one is for Tau, because he solves a lot of the problems that Leicester have. But I mean, let's hope he stays. He put a positive message on his Instagram. So he says, like, we're a family. We have to take the highs with the lows, and we'll be back next season. So that's a very positive message from him. And let's hope we can keep some other key players like Mavididi. I think Bilal will go though.
Yeah. I agree with you, but I think you're right. Well,
But
what do you think about next season, Ethan? Though, because I mean, we could have quite an exciting lineup on paper, right?
I mean, yeah, you have a lot of interesting talents. Your Jake Evans, Jerry Momongas, but also like your Ben Nelsons, Will Elvis, Brandon Cover per chance coming back from loan. So there's an opportunity there for a lot of, well, if we're talking like top now, a lot of pure profit to come in. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting. I think it'll be a tough season. But honestly, it'll be a nice like change of scenery. I think the fans need some more football to be played rather than just almost whimpering every week. So yeah, hopefully the ground, the atmosphere gets a bit more positive. I think it's really toxic, and Top has to take accountability. But yeah, let's hope that next season there's structure and a plan in place.
Yeah, I don't put my hat. I wouldn't hang my head on it, to be honest with you, with John Rodkin in charge. But let's see. All right, Ethan, thank you so much for calling in. Do keep staying, pay attention. We'll see you next time, right? Take care. Bye-bye. Just before I bring on our next guest, just a question for you, Imran, actually. When you're at the ground next season, do you think the passion will be there once we start winning? Or do you think it will feel a bit fake? Because like I went to a few games in the Championship, and I have to say, you did feel quite early on that it felt quite therapeutic, that like we were getting a bit more of a connection after that bad era. But will it, like I say, will it just feel like we shouldn't even be here again? What are you thinking?
No, I think look, I think it's all about the team playing well. The players putting in a shift, putting in I mean, one thing that I've seen that when for example, a slide tackle goes in and you win the ball, for example, the crowd are already, up and clapping their hands. Fast played a wonderful ball yesterday. I think Mavadidi was offside. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah. Should have held his run.
But even that got the crowd going. Like, wow, what a ball! That like you could hear that wow from the crowd. So I think once we start next season, like you said, it's the first 5 or 6 games are crucial, right? If we can get off to a good start, the momentum builds, and the excitement builds, and we can keep going, right? So the start is so important. It's imperative we get off to a good start next season, otherwise it will get more toxic for sure.
That's what we did well last time. I'm not so sure.
And I'm hearing, I don't know if this is true, right, but I'm not often wrong, but there's about 2,500 season tickets that season ticket holders that didn't renew. So still a big amount big amount that have renewed, right? So should be all right.
All right. Let's bring on the next guest. It's Zach. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you, mate?
Yeah. We say just processing another season in the Championship upcoming. What about you?
Yeah, I'm already accepted the relegation when the January window shut down. We only saw it and with Koulibaly, and Ruud didn't even use him more than 2 games, to be honest. That's a disaster.
Yeah, this says it all, doesn't it? It's just a sympathy signing to make it look like we did something. It's like, I don't know, handing in the crappiest thing ever, but saying I did do my homework. Look, so
yeah, it was squad feeling. That's it.
What do you want to speak to us about then, Zach? What's on your mind at the moment? How are you processing the inevitability of being mediocre?
It's not mediocre. It's a shit show.
Yeah.
So where do you think it went wrong? Where do you think it went wrong this season?
When we did wrong from the starting, hiring Cook was a big mistake, and having his recommendation to bring the players which we should get them, that's a bigger mistake there. You bring Ayu, take over Reed, which aren't the spacey winger, and you're gonna use them multiple games, and they are not going to score a lot of games. So what you gonna get from that? At least you have a player who gonna create the chances for your strikers. They aren't creating chances or not scoring the goals. There's total failure signing there. And big one, you spend 25 million for Skip. We have already 4 players before the Skip for DM position, and you spending money on that rather spending on the very needed position, center back or a striker. You didn't get both of them. neither in the summer window nor in the winter transfer window. Wolves were struggling in the defense, and they brought the two defender in the winter transfer market, and they got better and better. Look now.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, that's a good point.
9 games Wolves take that.
Yeah, Wolves spent well in the winter transfer window, didn't they? That January transfer window, they got it bang on right, and their form's turned around with the manager appointment as well. They've just flown up that table now. That's why
signed 3 players and a new manager. We signed the manager and gave him a £3 million cast off from Parma, and
correct.
The rest is history, isn't it?
Yeah, and we got relegated before 5 games, which is shocking.
Yeah,
it is. We are almost only 18 points right now, which is biggest shocking. Because right now, when we were worst in 22-23 season, we still around 26, 27 points by then.
Yeah. So what's your expectation for next season then?
Expecting to Ruud be out, to be honest, at the end of the season. He shouldn't be continue because he made environment toxic, to be honest. He shouldn't be continue because half of the player were going to stay here. Is not going to fancy Ruud.
Yeah, but what if he stays and he gets the players he wants, he uses his contacts, and then next season we're flying? What's your thoughts there?
To be honest, he didn't show enough to get the confidence to continue. When he was playing good, it's good. After some fumbling and that after the Wolves games, there was too many fumble there. He used the player who aren't performing continuously 5-6 games and didn't drop them. After stinking performance, he gonna drop 1 or 2 games and then bring him back. That wasn't good enough. His substitution timing was off, and he didn't use good pacey on wings, which is to be shocking. He used over reliance on Ayo and recovery. It was not for me.
Okay, good. So that's it though. So Ruud, I think the vast majority, Adil, are saying they don't really want to give Ruud a chance next season, right? That's the consensus so far from this evening for sure.
How can you? What manager would survive 14 losses in 16 games?
But Reece was the first caller, and he was keeping with.
He did, which is fair, and that did surprise me. But I think that, like, you know, what Zach said is true there as well. I mean, my point is that, and this is going to sound crazy, it's like, it's not the points tally that actually is the outrageous thing, even though it is. It's the fact that he himself, as the manager, gave up. Like, he moved to that 3-4-3 system with Daka as a 10, and he played it like without changing a single player. He played the same lineup like 4 games in a row and lost every single one. And it's like, it's ridiculous. Like, you've literally had people turning up playing a stinker, and he keeps them in the team. But I understand that you might need to give them 2 to 3 games, but after that, you've got to take them out of the team and change it. And he just didn't do that. And so for me, that is like, I think the problem is if he stayed in charge, even if next season was good and we got promoted, you just feel to yourself in the back of your head that as soon as we get that first troublesome period, that it will collapse again. He hasn't showed that adversity to get through it. Whereas, you know, for example, we mentioned Danny Roll earlier. I'm not saying we necessarily get him, but someone like him came in adversity and turned it around. I think you need someone who has got a bit of metal about them, if I'm being honest. I don't know. I mean, that's why, like, you know, even though I personally would be quite excited if Fabregas came in, he's another one that, like, what would happen if you had a bad patch, you know?
It's not going to happen. You know that he survived with the Como in Syria. He's not going to leave Syria for the championship, to be honest.
Yeah, but Premier League's a big pull, you know. I mean,
yes,
look, I agree. It would surprise me, but you never know. You never know. Who would you pick then, Zach? If you could pick anyone for next season, who's your?
I always admire from Michael from Girona right now. To be honest, I was wanting him when Enzo left, because right now Girona is 16 or 17 on La Liga right now. But I think he's a good manager, and Girona is struggling because they haven't investing around 2 seasons, to be honest.
Yeah, they sold to Roma, didn't they? And Savinho to Man City, didn't they? So they just lost all the good players.
Yeah, and then invested. City Group didn't invest in their own sister clubs. I don't know.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, he's a good pick though. He's proved to be a good manager. Got him to the Champions League with some good players. So who knows? You might see that. Anything else that's on your mind, Zach?
I think people are so worried about the point deduction or transfer embargo. I don't think it's going to happen because already case has been heard and we are good to go for 23-24 season. So if EFL can't do that, can't open the case because already PL already acted on it. So we are good to go about that. But I think they can't. Only they are going to gather evidence. There's some tweaks or like miss. These not good. Follow the rules. Only they on that ground they're gonna punish us for the 23-24 season, not about the PSR season.
Yeah.
I think only worrying thing about is the current season, how much money we're gonna lose. Because if we're gonna lose more money for current season, then we are fucked up for the winter transfer window. To be honest, because they're gonna put on the business plan on us, point deduction, anything that would happen in mid-season.
Yeah, they could do. They could force us as a players. All right, Zach. Thank you very much for calling in.
Thank you.
Zach. Yeah, we'll see you next time. Thank you. And I can see him stretching. He's had to wait a while, but we've saved the best till last. Let's get him on. It's Mr. Final Whistle himself. Evening, Jack. How are you? Hope you enjoyed your break.
Yeah, I enjoyed my break in Scarborough. I don't know about the relegation, bloody enjoying that. But yeah, it was inevitable it would come in. It's been coming for a while, and it probably should have relegated us sooner the way we've behaved and done things this season. But yeah, it's been a bloody disaster season, and we're now relegated to the Championship, a return, and the EFL are rubbing their hands.
Yeah, how badly do you think they'll do us?
I don't know. We beat them twice, didn't we, last season? When they tried chasing us, but this time they'll try and find something to get us on. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one to see how they actually handle us now going forward from the end of the season.
Yeah. I suppose in some ways there's time for us between now and the end of the season, maybe to patch it up with them. I don't know. How do you see this going, Imran?
Yeah, so like I said, I'm not sure. Like the Premier League, it was quite clear, right, that we had broken, or there was a loophole that we had exploited. But the EFL now that we're going back, right, and they know that now they can't use that excuse that we're not a Premier League club now because we've been relegated. We're now an EFL club. In fact, the shares will probably get exchanged very soon, won't they, Jack? They'll probably be in the next week.
Probably tonight with Leeds. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, exactly, right. So that you can sign them over. So now we are now officially, you could say, a Championship club playing in the Premier League. So I've got mixed thoughts about it. I just don't know what's going to happen, Jack. I honestly don't know what the EFL are going to do. Are they going to throw the book at us? Are they going to give us some leeway for the first few months, first 6 months to get our house in order? I've got no idea. So I need to read up about it a bit more.
Yeah, I think we've all got to do some bloody digging into it, haven't we? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
We can't sit here and say we're financial advisors and that, can we? And lawyers and whatever we are,
But you know what? The good thing is, right, we're not, I guess from a fan perspective, right, we keep getting told by the reporters and, all the guys you've interviewed on our channels before, is it John Percy and forgot the other guy's name. Rob Tanner, sorry. Yeah. He's pretty good, he is. We're not short of money. We've got money, right? It's just that we can't spend the money because of the money we receive and our expenditures are high, etc. So look, I'm just putting it out there. There could be an opportunity to sell Beaver Drive, right, to get us out of this mess, right? That could be worth quite a bit. I play football there on Sundays.
Really?
It's a massive facility, right? You could build about 200 houses on there quite easily. Worth a lot of money, that is.
We could just do what Chelsea did and sell it to ourselves.
Sell it to ourselves, exactly, right?
Yeah.
There must be loopholes we can use. But that's the most frustrating thing as a fan, that we know we've got the money, but we can't bloody spend it, right? So that's the issue we've got.
Yeah, Jack, I've got to say, good comment here. You are looking lean, I've got to say. It's either you're on a diet or is it just the stress of watching Leicester this season?
I tell you what, if it was a stress watching Leicester, I think I'd be grey by now and have no hair whatsoever like Imran. No, yeah, I've cut down massively. Lost over 5 stone in about 24 weeks or so. So,
Oh my God,
yeah, had a
congratulations, mate. That's
massive
unbelievable.
transformation. I think I've lost more pounds than Leicester City have scored goals this season in the Premier League. So,
I met Jack.
so
I met
it's
Jack
one
at the
of-
ground. I met Jack at the ground yesterday, just before. So watch out for him on the vlog tomorrow.
Awesome.
Yeah, and yeah, he was looking really good. So Jack, well done, mate. You know, that's one positive thing
appreciate
that's
it.
come out of this season.
It is.
Yeah,
Small
honestly, it's a
positive.
massive respect for doing that. That's incredible. You have to post your secret, put that on your premium channel. People will be signing up for that, that's for sure. Well, that's even better then. So you'll be in a positive frame of mind for next season. So how are you seeing it right now, Jack? And what's it? Obviously, it's really, really early. There's so many if, buts,
Yeah.
and maybes. But what's your prediction? Where do we finish next season?
It depends if this club can actually plan. That's the main problem with these hierarchy now at Leicester. There's no plan. There's no identity. Where do Leicester City want to be is the main question for us, and obviously it's the Championship because that's where we are as a club. We look like a yo-yo club again. We come so far to then have a massive fall off in bloody English football history. If I'm honest with you, the thing is, we need a massive reset, massive rebirth. It takes 3 years, so be it. You know, as long as you've done it completely and not rushed it, took your time with it, because you know what the club's like, Anil, with the decision making. They panic. They hired Cooper, which was a disaster from the start. You know, fans never took him in. You know, they never gave him a new home. It was like, you've managed Forest, get out the door, don't want you. You know, and then they never had a plan in pre-season, did they? They had 6 weeks to prep for a season, and you need a long enough period than that. And this is where I look at Leicester now with Van Nistelrooy. He's got to go. He should have been gone sooner, in my opinion. We need a manager with a structure, someone who we know what style of football we want to play, an identity of where we actually want to go next season, someone who we can say, you know what, this is what you've got. These are the players you've got to work with. See which ones you actually want to keep and what you don't. Get rid. Have like a longer period now, because right now, speaking, we've got to be planning now for the next season. We can't sit there and leave it till the end of the season and have another Steve Cooper appointment or anything like that. We've got to plan now. We've got to be on the march, should we call it? But then you trust him, Rookin and bloody Co to go and do the situation, aren't you? And these are the type of people what couldn't plan a wedding or anything like that. You know what I mean? It's one of them. If Van Nistelrooy,
Jack, can I ask you? So what if the club actually said, you know what? Here is our plan. We're sticking with Van Nistelrooy. He signed the new contract. He's going to be Leicester manager for the next 2 seasons, and we're going to back him. Would that be good or bad? Because it would sort of at least be, going with something.
The thing is that'd be the type of thing the club would do. But the thing is, these problems have mounted up way before Van Nistelrooy came in. So Rude's had 1 win in 18. Do you know what I mean? If Mick McCarthy were here, he'd say it'd get worse than it is. Do you know what I mean? So this is the issue with the club. They don't know. They just think it's acceptable. You know, they just think, you know what, we'll just leave it as it is. But the problems mount up if you don't sort them out. And this is the situation that we're at with the club now. 2 relegations in 3 seasons. It's a disaster, you know. And we're sort of in panic mode now with, you know, the managers have been linked under like Danny Roll. Yesterday, Russell Martin, which it wouldn't surprise me if they hired Russell Martin, to be honest, knowing John.
Yeah, very Leicester thing to do.
Because what kind of annoyed me is, and when I talk to people, it were like, Rookin wanted Cooper, but then Top wanted Van Nistelrooy. And it's like, you know, you should be agreeing with this together, not bloody one wanting one and one wanting the other. That just shows we don't have a clue of what we actually want to do and where we want to go. knowing them lot, they'd send us down to bloody League One because that until they actually realised the mess that we're actually in and how to fix it. And we don't want to be in that situation again. We've come too far as a club in the success that we've had in the last 10 years to then you look at the last 3 years and yes, we've won the championship, but then you've had a squad who I think the relegation were worse sort of this time, you know, it's worse than this time because of how things have gone with the table, the points, the records that have been broken. But we knew we was going down. With last time in the Premier League, you had a squad where you're thinking, yeah, you're probably not you're too good to go down at this point.
Yeah,
But
they
then
still
you're
shouldn't
never
have
too
gone
good to go
down. You
down.
see,
It shouldn't. You were never prepared
yeah.
for them to go down, was you, at that point?
No.
But this team, you've sort of gone, finally, we've actually been relegated here. We've deserved it.
Yeah.
Do you know what the problem with Rude is, right? Like, I can see us keeping him, right, just for the PSR thing. But the dangerous thing is if we do get off to a really bad start next season,
yeah,
it's going to be even more toxic, right? And he'll end up walking anyway. So I guess that's what they're probably banking on, right? Like, we might stick with Rude. Let's give him a chance, right? And if it gets toxic, then we'll just sack him. Screw it. But if we get off to a good start and we get behind the team and the momentum, you know, as you keep winning games, the fans get happier, we get excited. Then we're like, oh, maybe Rude's not that bad after all, and it's a bit at the end of the day. But if the time does come where we go through a bad patch like we did with Enzo, the fans will be calling for his head straight away. So it's going to be a gamble keeping him. Whereas if you start with a clean slate at the start of a season with a new manager, then everyone's going to give him a chance anyway. He's got credit in the bank, right? But Rude's going to have no credit in the bank at the start of next season.
This is the issue with Leicester. They've got to get the right man in. They've got to switch the squad up next season. Fass is reported to go in, which I'd sell him. I wouldn't be gone against it to see him leave, to be honest.
Interesting, Jack. This is an interesting conversation, right? Or interesting discussion about Fass, right? I personally think he's still our best defender. That's my personal view, right?
Really?
I think he's our best defender. Like, Okoli's full of mistakes. Vestergaard's got no pace. Cody's too slow. I just think Fass is the best out of a bad bunch, right? So that's my view. I don't think he's a good player, but he's better than what we've got.
I tell you what,
that's why he plays, right? That's why he always gets to play, because even the manager sees that.
I tell you what, I think this season you've got to give credit to Ricardo. You know,
Yeah.
I know he's been injured, but the 7 Premier League games that he's actually played, he's gave 100%. He's committed. Vardy, they wear the shirt with pride because they know the situation. And, we look at the social media today, Vardy, Pereira, the comments that they make. They know how the fans are feeling. They know the situation we're in. They're angry. They're upset, and rightfully so. That shows they've got the balls to come out and say something. And they've said the club are not done anything this season, and neither of the players. And they're absolutely bang on. And it has been a shit show this season from start to finish. I know Cody talks a lot of, on these podcasts or whatever he does, But the thing is, Hermanson, it is probably the worst thing in his career, because that's probably the first time he's ever been relegated. But he'll be the one that'll be gone in the summer. Mads Hermanson, he's an asset to be sold. Bilal El-Khanous, I'd love to keep him, but the release clause is going to be the one that takes him away from us.
I wonder how much that is. I wonder how much that is, right? That release clause.
That's what I'm saying. I hope it's more than what we paid for him.
Yeah. It said reasonable release clause, so I don't know what that alludes to, but it's probably 5-10 million more than what we bought him for. Probably, I don't know.
Yeah, or probably £5-10 million less.
That happened to Leeds once, didn't it? That's how they lost.
He's on big wages.
Leeds lost one of their players because of that. Look, you know what? Anything else on your mind, Jack? Otherwise, I think we'll probably let you head on your way.
Luke Thomas. Yeah, let's talk about
Luke
Thomas.
yesterday.
He did.
Do you know what? I think he's been great. I think he's been our best defender this season. When he's been given the chance, he's put a shift in. He's gave 100%. But then people say he's done okay because of how bad the defence has actually been. But you know what? I think he stepped up. Yesterday, he pocketed Salah, and not many players are going to be able to do that in any game of shape or form with Liverpool, with how Salah's playing football. And that's the second time he's pocketed Mo Salah in his career, Luke Thomas. I think that's an achievement for him. It'd be like winning a trophy. But yeah, I think Luke Thomas, with him, how do you see it? Do you kind of play him next season? Do you keep him, or what's your initial thoughts regarding the team? Where do you sort of see with who's going to be in that team and who isn't?
That's a very good question. I think for me, you really want to see the effort and commitment, really. I think as people, there's so many comments here saying the worst thing of this team is just they're so unlikable. And I really agree with that. So for me, it's almost like I can actually tolerate even a little bit of a lack of quality if I see players that actually want to play for the club and getting stuck in. We've been having a big debate about style of play, and I've been calling a lot of the other BTG guys dinosaurs and stuff like that. But what I will say is I think it's really important next season that whatever team we pick, it has to be a team that has kind of like high intensity as well to try and win back the crowd. In fact, I'd even accept having a team that is actually not as good but works harder, as crazy as that sounds. So I think we need that. So yeah, for me, I would like to see a lot of the local lads. I mean, Luke Thomas, I think it depends on the system that we play. It's interesting that they're trying him as this sort of left centre back position. I think he's been indifferent for me, but I will agree he was probably our best player against Liverpool. So I think you've got to keep him in the squad. I don't think at the same time we can't go crazy. I mean, even if we can sign players, how many are we going to sign? I don't think it will be as many as the last time that we went down. For me, honestly, where I see Leicester City becoming great again is if this academy actually starts doing the business. So getting loads and loads of minutes for Alves, for Monga, McAteer, Henry Cartwright steps up, Jake Evans coming off the bench. Ben Nelson, obviously. I don't think they're all going to be like first team players, but if you look at what Sunderland have done, Sunderland this season, the championship, players like Chris Rigg, Dan, there were a lot of people that have come through their academy and it's worked for them. So that's what I would like to see. And I actually think we will see it just because I don't think there will be that much money. And I think that they will, I think that's got to be the strategy going forward. How about you, Imran?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think we built an academy for a reason, right? That was a vision that was sold to us, that we're going to have the best training facility, strong youth teams. Yeah. So I think it's just a matter of time now. I mean, it does take, they do say when you have an academy, it does take 4, 5, 6 years. For us to see
and that's starting to happen now, isn't it?
That's starting to happen, right?
Yeah.
So we're just hoping that they don't get poached, but that is the dream, ultimate dream, right? Is to see those players constantly. Every year you see a couple of gems come out of your academy.
Yeah.
Then you loan them out to your, League One championship teams, and then hopefully integrate them into the first team as time goes by. So you never know. This could be the start of many, many more academy players coming through the ranks.
I agree. Yeah, I'm in the same boat, Imran, with Alves, Ben Nelson, them types of players. It'd be good to bring them all through, but you can't throw a lot of them in there. Do you know what I mean?
No.
You've always got to have them experience in there to help them out.
Yeah.
Obviously, next season you'll have your Fatawas, your Mavridis, well, no one's going to buy Oliver Skip £25 million. We'll get 25
he could be our midfield maestro. He could be our midfield maestro next season. You never know.
He's a championship player at best.
Yeah,
he
got into the team of the season with Norwich 4 years ago. Yeah. So it wouldn't surprise me if he does well. You never know. All right, look, I tell you what, Jack, if you don't mind, we'll leave you to it. You have been the final whistle as always.
Appreciate
it. We'll blow time on that one. Thank you. We'll see you next time. All right.
I appreciate it. Cheers, boys.
See you, Jack. Yeah. I've got to say, Jack looked incredible. That's amazing. How did he lose all that weight? That is the motivation story.
I was walking to the ground yesterday, and I was walking in, and obviously he saw me, and we had a good chat outside, and got him on the vlog as well, which will be out tomorrow at 8 a.m.
Did you think he'd met his younger brother to begin with? That's almost what it looks like. It's done brilliant.
Sorry? Oh yeah, that's what I thought. I thought that Jack, and then we had a chat, and he looked really good. So well done to him.
Unbelievable. All right, guys, thank you. We've almost gone 2 hours today. Sorry to Imran, but you know what? Because we got relegated, I think it's important that everyone got an opportunity to speak their voice. Yeah, thank you everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Locks will be back tomorrow. We're going to do a little stream to talk about the John Percy article and some other things on your mind. So that'll be a spicy one. That'll be at 7:00. We're not doing the analysis this week because we're going to analyze what's gone wrong with our season, to be honest with you, which is much more important. Imran, thank you so much. What a legend. Great debut. Worries. Put more work in than many Leicester City players. Thank you everyone. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Cheers, man. Sorry about